Yeah, what's up, peeps? This shit talking at its best back again. And as you can see, I got a new partner this week. My man couldn't make it, so wifey said she'd sit in and chat it up a little bit. So we gonna see how this go. You want to tell the people your name, babe?
Hi, my name is Brenda. I'm Tony's wife of 30 years. So,
Going on 30, but we're not gonna get it. We're gonna try to stay out the couples thing right now because we don't want to make this a couple. We want to keep this shit talking, so we're not gonna do the couples thing. But I'm gonna I'm gonna get into some things, little things about couples that she gonna come. Now she don't know what I'm talking about either. We didn't discuss this, so I'm gonna get into some things. So my first thing I want to talk about is how long should people date before they get married? Now the way I'm saying that is because me and my wife we dated 10 years before we got married. So I'm gonna ask her what she think about that and how long she think people should date before they get married, or does she have any, advice about that?
I don't really have any advice. I will say that our marriage has lasted and withstood the test of time. But I think it's really based on each individual. I think people, some people are ready for a commitment and they're ready to settle down and start a family, and I think some people aren't. So I think it really depends on the couple. But I would definitely say that I think a couple of years is probably a safe amount of time to get to know the other person, to get to know who your partner is and their personality and their you know ticks, so to speak. But just so you get to know the person inside and out, the nuance of someone's character doesn't come out in just dating. And I think it's also a good idea to probably live together first before you do get married, because I think again you find out all of those small things that might irritate you or about them, or some things you do that they may be irritated by. I
I
don't think, I'm sorry, very
Go ahead.
quickly, I don't think anyone needs to date for 10 years before somebody marries them.
Well, I agree with a lot of that, but I'm gonna say that I'm gonna say as a man, I think men, and I'm not gonna say how long they should date. I'm gonna say it's age wise. I think men should be close to 30 before they get married, and that's my thinking. I wasn't thinking like that at the time I was that age. I just think over the years, seeing the way marriages end up breaking up or whatever. I'm saying with men because men got a lot of running around to do, a lot of boys stuff they got to get out of them, and if you getting married too soon with a young man, I don't think he's gonna be ready for it. I think women are more ready and we know women mature faster than men and are ready to settle down faster than men. So I would just say that I think men should maybe wait till they're close to 30 after they do. Because when you get 20, when you're in your 20s, man, you're just getting your feet wet and just getting something else wet. And that's new and you want to run around and do what you do. I think well, my situation, I was doing the same thing, running around. I wasn't sure I was ready to be married at that age, but I knew the person I was with that if I was to get married was the person that I wanted to marry or the type of person I wanted to marry. So I did my best to hold on. She was getting ready to slip or slide out a couple of times. I had to reel her back in, but I guess it kind of worked out. So some people that say you shouldn't wait around. What do you say? If you got the cow, milk is free, or what's the saying?
You don't have to pay for the cow if you can get the milk for free.
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. But eh, we still hung in there after all these years. So we can't say that that's all true either. So even after the dating, we stayed together and we still together here. Still fighting fuss like everybody else. And also tell you another thing that meant for men and women to know that we definitely don't think alike. and we don't see things alike. Our morals and values are the same, but a man and a woman, the things that you do for her and she do for you might not be what they expect. So you got to realize that we both think different in different manners, and we
And we
appreciate different stuff.
and
Well,
we both have different love languages. So
yeah, definitely that. So on that topic, we just gonna say that it's up to the individual. I'm just giving my 2 cents to the man, saying, man, you get a lot of that out your system before you try to do it, because that's why the divorce rate is so high. I think on some level. But today's days, dating just crazy anyway. So I'm thinking back in our time. So right now, I know the dating world is crazy. I'm glad I'm not in it, so I don't have to deal with it.
yeah, I was going to mention that when you use that, you know, 17th through 19th century thinking about the free cow type of thing. I don't think anybody is necessarily waiting until they're married before they enjoy all the benefits of marriage, including having kids. But again, I think it's up to the individual, and I think one of the reasons that people's marriages, or people don't put in the commitment. I'm sorry, there's a truck coming by that's making too much noise for me. I think the reason that people don't put in the commitment to marriage is because it's too easy and it's too commonplace to just, say, you know what, this isn't working, let's get a divorce. And I think if both parties come in and they're independent, very independent when they get together, there's a lot of compromise that they have to make space for one another. And I mean, honestly, I think that's one of the reasons that our marriage has lasted as long. We both are willing to accept one another and compromise when it comes down to something that I do that he doesn't like, or something that he does that I don't like. As he stated, we're both very opposite, in a number of different ways, but it works for us.
Right. And okay, we're gonna try to back up off the couples
Relationships.
ther- couple therapy right now. But in a sense, I'm going to say this on this too, then, because I'm going somewhere with this. This was going to be a me and my man topic, but now I got to get it in with her, so we gonna see how it work out. But I'm gonna say for a man in a situation of trying to ask a woman her advice on a man situation, you can't do that, fellas. You can't ask your woman advice on a man situation, and that's going back to because we think so differently and we act so differently on things. So I'm gonna go with this situation. Back in the day, I had a friend of mine and somewhat of a friend of hers, and I asked her opinion on should I say something or not, and she told me not to, and I said okay. I wasn't. I didn't feel in my heart. I felt I ain't feel right. I felt still was burning, but I said I'm gonna listen to her. I said I'm gonna listen to her, and I didn't never said anything, and the situation turned out to go left where I should have said something. And from that day on, I was like, I never listened to her on a man situation again. I could listen to her on a lot of stuff, but when we talking men on men stuff, I stay away from that. But so to go from there, what I was going to talk to my man about, because the situation happened like a week ago, or came up in a week in social media, whereas that a basketball player, former basketball player, found out his wife was on the OnlyFans. Did we talk? Did I say
Yeah,
something about it?
you mentioned it.
Yeah, it was on the OnlyFans, and I'm not pretty sure most of y'all know what OnlyFans is. But when he found out, he was real messed up or real hurt that his wife was doing OnlyFans because he didn't know anything about it, and at the same time, it's his wife. So this is a question I'm asking. And I'm gonna let her give her 2 cents about it. And it's the old saying: can a man turn a hoe into a housewife? But we're not gonna say that word anymore. I'm gonna say a sex worker into a housewife, someone who has say was a stripper, ex stripper, escort, porno worker, actress, or whatever, any of those things, can you, can a guy who's not in that business marry a woman that is in that business? Do you think it'll work out? You
Is it
think it
time
can?
for me to say something?
Yeah, yeah. You can say something, oh, and you can use that topic that I'm saying. And I'm not gonna knock. I still want to get back to the basketball player, but you can ask the question, or answer the question, or give me your 2 cents.
Well, I want to clarify a couple of things first, okay? So I don't necessarily, and this is out of respect for my sisters that are out there. I don't necessarily equate being a stripper with being a sex worker. Okay, so I see them as two different things, and I do know that some strippers may, take their profession to another level,
Get a raise.
if that's how you want to see it. But in any case, in answering the question, I think if one of my sons were to bring home a stripper or a sex worker or anyone that has in the past been viewed as promiscuous, um, I personally may have a problem and I might be worried about what my son would go through. However, yeah, I think that, I think a man can do it, and I think that a woman can settle down. I mean, I think, and my husband and I talk about this all the time, where the plight of a woman, especially the plight of a black woman, I mean, we have a very, very challenging life that we have to live. I mean, our plight is not easy. I'm not going to compare it to the black man's plight, but we are definitely affected by the black man's plight because in a lot of cases, they bring that stuff back home to us in one way or another, whether or not we're in a relationship with them or not, we somehow get the brunt of it. But in any case, I do think that a woman, if she meets the right man and they both are in a mindset of settling down, that it can happen. I think it'll be challenging, but I definitely think it can happen.
Well, my thoughts on it is that the relationship will have to be close to perfect to work. And I'm saying that because, I know everybody have seen Pretty Woman, the movie Pretty Woman, and those who may not or don't remember, it was rich guy pays for escort prostitute, and they become
They
friends.
fall in love, but those that was fantasy, and those
Okay,
were white people.
but
And
don't matter what color they were.
well,
It
I think
doesn't matter. It was fantasy, but what I'm saying is that that doesn't work out 99% of the time. So that was a fantasy movie. I'm just saying you've seen it on it. My thing is that because I said for it to work out, a couple will have to be the marriage will have to go perfect, close to perfect, because I think a woman, and I'm gonna get to a man, so a woman that has been in that lifestyle gonna know she can go back to that lifestyle if things don't work out in different ways. If the money ain't flowing right, if the sex ain't flowing right, if just the lifestyle ain't flowing right, that they can bounce right back into what they're doing. So the arguments, when you get into these arguments or disagreements with your spouse and things not going right, and we all have money issues and all that, you're gonna worry about what that woman's gonna do when So I don't think you can 1 out of 100 maybe, but I'm just saying the odds of it's working is really slim to none. My thinking, because of those reasons, and that's back to the guy who found out his wife was doing it. The reason she said she went to OnlyFans was money reasons. She said the money wasn't coming. She met him when he was a ball player. He's no longer a ball player now. He's basically, she said he wasn't bringing in any money. I think she said that the house were almost going to be taken. And she said she didn't want to go back to living, or she didn't want to live a normal life. I don't know if she said normal, but she was used to living a certain type of way. And she said she opened up a businesses or tried other businesses, but they didn't work. So OnlyFans was what was getting her the money and was getting her the money to get the bill. So I think that's what you're going to revert to. It's just like a guy maybe that's was out in the street hustling. If he's out here, and he's saying he's trying to get rid of that life and do the right thing and get a job, a 9 to 5, he might have did some time, and if things don't work right, he probably fall right back into what he know how to do best, and that's how to get money hustling. So that's the only thing I'm saying about why I don't think it's possible that it's a lot of reasons why it might not work. Because if things don't go right, you fall back into what you know how to do best. And on top of that, I'm gonna say that I don't fault her. I'm on the incident of what say I can't fault her. Oh, the other thing she said you knew me when you met me. She even said you knew me when you met me, or you knew what I did when you married me. So he had he knew that she had did some work in the past, that type of work. So I gotta say I can't really fault her. And like she said, she wasn't trying to live a normal life. She was used to some, I guess, luxury stuff, and she wanted to stick with it. So I don't really knock her. He, should have been more on top of his game if he, married her.
I don't necessarily disagree with your theory of what might happen if someone is backed into a corner. I think we all have a tendency to go back to, what has worked for us in the past, whether or not we, you know, wanted to be doing it or not. It's also a place of familiarity and comfort. But as to your point, I don't know that it needs to be perfect. I think that there needs to be a great deal of trust. I think that there needs to be an exemplary amount of trust in order for someone to be able to not worry that their spouse or significant other is doing something that might go against vows that they've taken or whatever. So
Okay, so we're gonna say the situation is up in the air. I mean, we want to hear y'all thoughts. If you got some comments, what you think, put them in the comments. Let us know if you think it can work out. I'm gonna let you go ahead. I got another topic, but go ahead if you got something you want to kick off.
oh, I don't have anything else to kick off, but I do want to clarify because he opened up this particular segment with going back years and years and years ago about him asking my advice on something and me giving him the wrong advice. I will say it wasn't as simple as him just asking me about advice for something with his friend. It was me also being friends with someone that was a part of this situation, and I was very concerned that we needed to stay out of that situation. I stumbled into it by accident. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know I was in it. That's how young and naive I was. I didn't even know anything was going on. And when he brought it to my attention, I said, "Don't say anything. Leave it alone." So I
See,
just wanted to clarify that. And then from there, we can leave this alone. We don't have to
no,
debate
but
it.
see, no, you brought it back
But
up.
at
So
the same
now,
time, this is well
so
over
now,
30 years
okay,
ago.
good. I said it to lead into stuff, but I'm gonna say, men as men, we don't stay out of our main man business. If your buddy, your partner is in a situation, that ain't what we do. We don't stay out of that. If it's somebody you just see from afar or and that's your hey, what's up type of situation, yeah, we can stay out of that. But if it's your buddy, I'm saying your man, that ain't nothing to stay out of. If you know something about somebody and it's on your man. So that's all I'm gonna put on the end of that. That
Okay.
it's not about staying out. But that's a woman's and a man difference right there. I don't know if it was her girlfriend that was having a problem. She probably I don't know what she would have did. But anyway, that's that. All right, another situation. I was planning on this with my partner, who's not here today. So now my wife, she got to take these hits that we going at. So this is another another situation that happened in the news.
Something else about a woman?
No, this not about
Oh,
this
okay.
about this not no not about one.
Okay.
This is about and it's kind of funny. It's about a basketball player, Dwight Howard, and I know people don't heard about this. Like I said, it's a couple of weeks old now.
Well, bring me up to speed because I don't know this one.
All right, well, basketball player. Basically, he got charged in court. He a guy he was supposed to meet on that he met online. Yeah, probably he met online, and he invited him to his house. He was like they was texting back and forth and everything. He telling him he want to see his eggplant and all this stuff. And
So it's a guy and a guy.
yeah, it's a
And is
guy.
this guy, this basketball player, is he openly gay?
No, that's what we getting at.
Oh,
So
okay, all
he's
right.
not openly gay. He wasn't openly gay, but it's been accusations out there before. I think transsexual had put him out there that he had they had a relationship and he denied it. This a few years back and stuff. There was also a tape out there, even 5 to 10 years ago, that I saw with him on. He was on the sideline with one of his one of his teammates, and he was playing. And guys don't play. He playing like this. He reached down to grab the guy's private on the side of the bench where the cameras caught it, and it was playing. And the guy who he did, just jumped back and when I seen that, I was like, okay, I know dude. I know dude. Dude like dudes, because guys don't play like that. You don't play like that. If a guy do that to a real dude, you gonna punch him in his face. And so I got to take it that his teammate was probably part of the liking guys type thing too, because he didn't punch him in his face. But that was, like I say, some years ago. So all that was back, and he was still doing this thing. Where now it came out in the court papers because the guy filed a suit on Dwight because he had already agreed to come over to Dwight's house and everything. But Dwight, when he got there, had another guy there dressed up like a woman. So he had and her name was Kitty. I don't know if it was a transvestite or what it was, but something to that effect. So they kind of like, I don't know if they forced him into this three way or whatever, but he's like, he didn't sign up for that. He didn't sign up for the three way. He signed up to come see Dwight. Him and Dwight supposed to do his thing. So anyway, when the court's in the court papers, Dwight had to sign off. So it's all coming out now. It all came out, and he went on social media talking about he could do what he wanted to do. Why people worried about what he doing and all that, and all that's fine. I'm only coming. I'm not even going in. I'm going into why with the LTGBQ.
LGBTQ.
Okay, I know it's lot of alphabets that I can't keep up with
I
because
just need you
they,
to respect it
I,
because
I
Lord
got to
knows
respect. Yeah, I mean that's what this is why I'm saying. I
this
know
is
they can get you. I know they can definitely get you with no problem. So that's why I'm trying to say, with the push they have right now, they on the up. Why don't jokers just come out and do their thing that they want to do now? I mean, I think it's like,
well, I have an opinion.
okay, that's why you here.
Okay. I think it could be more cultural. I mean, I'm assuming this basketball player you're talking about is black.
Hmm.
I don't know if he's from the South.
I don't know where
I mean,
he's
well,
originally
I mean,
from.
so I mean, there's a lot of pressure on black men to not embrace that side of themselves if that side of themselves is there.
Well, I know that, but I'm saying it's changing now.
I
That's what
mean,
I'm
well,
saying.
what's changing is society's acceptance of it,
Exactly.
but not if you're raised in a certain family structure, not if you're raised in the church, not if you're raised in the South. I think it's a little more challenging. I think it's a little more difficult, and I think that you suppress all of this stuff. He's now been liberated in a way that he can do what he wants to do when he wants to do it. He still has to do it in secret, but he has the power and the influence to, you know, bring people to his house and do his stuff. But I think that he's probably still very much conditioned. I mean, all of us are still affected by childhood events and things we heard and things our parents told us and all of that. So he could just very much be somebody who's like, I can't openly be this way because it may hurt my grandmother, or it may disappoint my grandfather, or my father may be mad or something. And
Right,
even though society is saying, hey, if you're gay, be proud of yourself, own your
on your lifestyle,
yeah,
on
your
who you
gender,
are.
your
On,
sexuality, whatever your particular situation is. And I think that it's easy when you're heterosexual to it's very easy as a heterosexual to say, I like that person over there and they're the opposite sex and nobody questions it, but you can't.
well, right now, I really disagree with that because they pushing to. I think being heterosexual is going to be is really going to be on the outs. Really, I think we're going to be the minority, and I think it's coming up that it's going to be men and men and women. But before I go there, I want to just say reason why I'm having a problem with it because I know it's so many guys, and now we could call say real niggas, or we could say real. I'm gonna say real men. Real men, that's just straight men, are starting to get the backlash of so many others uh, not coming out with their truths because I think it's giving gay guys a sense that more real men really go both ways than they are because there's so many guys that's playing the straight role and at the same time they playing both sides. Or really they say they play both sides. Some people saying they bisexual. I don't go with the bisexual thing. I mean, I think if when a man starts liking his butt touched by another man or touching another man's butt, I think really that's what you like because ain't no need of you touching a man's butt when you got on so many women's butts around. But anyway, that's part. But so I'm just saying, I think it's giving gay guys the
It's emboldening them to believe that maybe he is interested in me and maybe affect.
maybe a straight guy. Yeah, I'm saying a straight guy is so. And I want to talk about my situation that I had. I don't know what you laughing at.
You
I
know
don't
what
know
I'm
if you, I
laughing
don't
at.
know which one I'm talking about the one I was up at this place uh, and I was talking to Carla
Oh, and the guy was
and the
gave
guy,
you
and the
massage.
guy, and so we up there and music playing, and he, I'm talking to, I call her my sister, and we talking, and he's intervening in the conversation, like yeah, it was up and all that, whatever. So music stopped playing, and we stopped bobbing, and the music started hitting. So next thing you know, he gonna put his hand on my shoulder and stop bobbing with me. And I'm like, man, get off me, man. What are you touching me? Get off me. He's like, oh no, I'm sorry. No, I ain't mean it like that, man. I ain't. No, that's exactly how you meant it, cause I seen your moves that you was making, and I done seen the moves that you was making around the other side. So I know. But what I'm saying is that I just think it's, as she said, embolden them to think that maybe this guy who looking straight, he go that way too. So my thing, I just want y'all to come out, man. That's the. I just want y'all to come out because I don't want to have a problem, because next thing you know, a bottle going up inside somebody's head for thinking something like that, then I'm the bad guy or the straight guy's the bad guy. Y'all can do whatever y'all want to do, and I'm fine with that. Just do it, y'all do it to each other, man. And that dude that be dancing around them videos and producing music, he need to come out too. But well, I'm not gonna say his name, but
Yeah, let's keep this clean.
it's clean. That's clean.
Um, yeah, I don't think I have anything else to add to this particular topic. I mean, I know that you are quite desirable. I don't know. He's had more than one
All
incident.
right,
I'm not
okay.
going to go into the
Nah, you want me to
details.
tell that story too?
I mean, you can if you want to. I just feel like I have a lot of competition
And
out here.
see, that's why I'm saying this on this. So okay, so we on. Now we turn this into couples therapy again. But anyway, we on a cruise. We on a cruise, right? So we at the nightclub a couple of nights and stuff. So I see this
Person.
little person, but he was Caucasian, and I couldn't tell if he was a male or female. He had a little short hair. He was short. His hair was cut short, and so every time I look across the bar, I look, and I was just saying. So the, I would see him looking at me every time I
Well,
looked at
it's
him.
just out of, again, out of respect. Let's just call them they, because we don't know for certain what their gender was or how they identify.
No,
I want to keep this.
I think I did. I think I did. You know, so let me finish. I
Okay,
think
but
I did
still
this
just,
one.
okay,
I
but let's
did.
just use the them they
Yeah, I know.
pronouns.
But see, that's the stuff them they we
I
gotta
mean, we
go
have to be
into and all that.
respectful. I mean,
All right, whatever. But okay. All right. So anyway, so I had told my wife, but I said it's a little joker in the club. Little joker in the club. Every time I turn around, he staring me in my face. So they said, I said, I don't know if it's a girl or a guy staring me in my face. And she was like, oh yeah. And it was like nothing. I was just something I said to her. So we go to the club another night. Come in the club, we sitting, she's sitting right beside me and everything. And I'm talking, I met another dude in the club, so we wrapping it up. Man, them wrapping it up. My wife right here. So she say so since I'm talking to this dude, she ready to go in. She ready to call it a night. She's like, I'm gonna leave you up here with your buddy, and I'm gonna go back to the room. I see you when you get to the room. I'm like,
well, if,
yeah, okay.
okay, let me interject very quickly. This is our last night on the ship, so there is no more opportunities after after tonight. Okay, go on.
Okay, so my wife leave. Me and the dude still sitting there. We vibing it up. Next thing you know, I turn around to my left. The
My seat,
dude,
the seat I have been
this,
occupying.
yeah, I see dude sitting in the seat, or sitting in the, or come to the seat, and he say, uh,
They say,
they say, how you doing? I just seen you in the club. I just thought I should introduce myself and say hi. And I said, yeah, okay. I said, yeah. So I'm looking straight. I'm looking at it. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, nah, man. I'm like, nah, man, this dude did, man. Come on. So anyway, man, I just started talking to the guy over here. We just started to keep wrapping it up, kind of chopping it up and shit. So they ordered him a drink or whatever, whatever, and then bounce. I'm taking it. They thought we was gonna start having a conversation or something. And this is all I'm saying. This is what I'm saying, man. Y'all need to come out the box.
well, the thing is, they were respectful. I mean,
That was
they
respectful.
they took their shot, and and it didn't go anywhere. And they left. You can't help the
And
fact that you just drawing that energy.
nah, I don't even like the fact that it's that's why I'm saying I don't even know. That's why I'm saying these dudes that's out here faking are the ones that's getting this thing like any guys is capable. And don't get me wrong, I think a lot of guys that play straight are that way, and I don't have no problem with you. But man, you just gotta. Somebody gonna wind up getting hurt, and that's gonna be the problem that I have. So I'm just saying, I hope you guys just come out and feel yourself and feel like you can be free and live your life happy being who you want. You know, Bruce Jenner did it. He came out and
Well,
flipped all
that's
the
an
way over.
extreme
Yeah, well,
example.
if you need to cut it off and do all of that, do whatever it is you gotta do just to be happy. Bruce Jenner, I guess he had what's his name, Kylie now.
I have no idea. I don't keep up with stuff like
Yeah,
that.
well, whatever
So
his name is.
this is, as you can possibly see, one of the examples of when we don't necessarily share the same viewpoints. I mean, I too would like people, if to live their truth and not be stuck in the closet so to speak, but everyone has their reason for living their life the way that they do. And while clearly my husband is open and willing and accepting of people to sort of step out and encouraging them to, we also recognize the fact that people move at their own pace. But neither one of us are are gay or lesbian, so it's hard to speak from a place of experience except through the people that we do know that fall into those categories. I won't begin to understand the challenges that exist in that space, but the world is accepting of it. So
And as you can see, my wife is more politically correct than I am, and that's like our differences that we're talking about. That she's going to make it sound, she's going to clean it up a little better than I'm gonna say it, because I'm gonna be straight to the point, direct with it. But it's all good. That's why we together. We balance each other. And
this is very true.
so, what you wanna? What you got? You ain't got nothing,
I specifically asked if we had topics so I could think of some, and you told me we were going to be free
right?
flowing, and this
That's
is a
what. And
conversation.
I'm letting you. And that's your time to free flow. If
I don't know. You want to talk about Thanksgiving? No, I mean, and I know you
Thanksgiving,
don't. I'm just like, what else is getting ready to come up? I mean,
Thanksgiving.
so I guess on social issues right now, the only thing I think that, and this is not, I mean, it is social, but I think it's more political. It's you know, what's happening right now in politics. I think one of the things that I find most frustrating, especially when we start talking on a national level about elections, is only when it comes down to the president. And I think the thing that's most frustrating for me is that so many people that get themselves worked up over who's going to be the president may not know that much about politics. The president does not actually affect our day to day. That's our councilman, that's our mayor, that's our governors. You know, the governor is the president of your state. Yet everyone will go stand in line for hours and hours to vote for the president, and you should. But I also think you need to understand the level of influence that the president has over your daily life. Because for some of the conversations that I hear and some of the things that are being said, it's something, what does the president have to do with that? So I think, you know, that's something that's most frustrating for me. I wish people would be talking about that when it came down to their governor. Some people may not even know who their governors are or who the mayor of their city is or their city council person. And those are the people that affect the things that you deal with on a day to day basis.
And you can see that I know the few viewers that we have know that I've said I'm not into politics like that. I don't believe in them. I think they're all playing games with the American people. So I really don't get deep into it as much as she do. She kind of works around that, so she has to be part of that political scene. And her thing is that I know she hears about this Trump, and she hears about Trump dying. We get so many people well now saying that things that Trump has done for us, and she always wants to. She hates hearing that he's done so much for us, and he's doing so much. So
I don't know what Trump has done for black people, and I know that we have been approached. Well, I've been approached once by somebody, and it came from nowhere to tell me how much Trump has done for black people. And the thing that was probably the most troubling about that statement, more so than just on the surface of the lunacy of it all, is the person wasn't black. So they just came up to me and just told me about all the things that Trump did. I did ask them if they could tell me what the things were, and then they told me I should probably just look it up. So of course now I'm just even more offended because not only are you going to tell me something that I feel is a bold-faced lie, now you're going to tell me I have to do research to prove to you that what you're saying to me is wrong. But in any case, I believe they spoke about this on another episode, and he and his original partner
well
that it
we
has something to do with the checks that came from China. Well, I didn't get a check. I never got any checks, and even had I gotten the checks, I would not have attributed or thanked Trump for it. If I was in a situation that I needed to get the checks, I would thank the government. I wouldn't thank Trump. But again, it's psychological warfare. That's the game that Trump was playing from the very, very beginning. And for me, it was psychologically exhausting. I was so glad when he was out of office, and I hope and pray to God he never gets in office again. But I know there are a lot of people that want him back in office, and for reasons that they don't even realize he's not going to be able to help them with unless they're filthy rich, which he's going to change the tax laws to benefit them. And then I don't think that there's anything else. Oh, unless you also are a white man who don't want your white wife to get an abortion so you can keep increasing your numbers. But other than that, yeah, I don't really know that there's anything else he's going to do for anybody.
Okay, well, you did say a lot about Trump, but I was wanted you to speak on. It's a video of a black woman who's was pardoned by Trump. She got pardoned by Trump, and she's speaking on his behalf now. How great of a person he is. She's saying she heard all these racist things that people were telling her, how racist Trump is, and he's this and he's that. Well, now since she's been pardoned and the things that he's done for people, she feels that they are all lying about Trump and he's a great man. But you had something to speak on that, didn't you? Didn't you want to say something about what she was
Yeah,
talking?
she was locked up in Georgia. She was pregnant when she got locked up, and when she had her baby, they had her chained to the bed. I mean, it sounds awful. I can't even imagine going through anything like that. I think the problem with her comments is the fact that that happened in Georgia. That that was governed by the state of Georgia. Again, Trump had nothing to do with it. And even if Trump is in office or not in office or whoever's in office, they cannot change what is happening in another state. And the more you know about civics and the more you know about government, the more you'll realize that these things are happening at your state level. And your state level trumps federal depending upon what it is. But something like that would have been governed by the state, not by the president. So the fact that she went through that, and again, it was horrific. I have no idea what her crime had been, why she was locked up. I'm glad she got pardoned. More than likely, it wasn't a very serious crime. Or it definitely wasn't a federal crime. Or she would have been in federal prison. But I mean, at the end of the day, everything she was saying had nothing to do with whoever the president is going to be. I don't know if Trump is racist. I don't think that Trump has any particular love for people of color. I think Trump ran his first campaign on racism, talking about building the wall, talking about keeping others out. When everything happened with COVID, he called it the China virus. So he creates this chaos and this mayhem, and he basically encourages hatred of others. So that's the reason he has the following that he has, because those people who walk this earth and feel a certain entitlement to things, and also feel as if others are less than them, they're being validated by the nonsense that he's saying. So everyone's running to cheer him on so that they can feel validated. The world is changing, and people are holding on by their fingernails to the old order. The numbers are dwindling. It's there. You can look at the statistics. Their numbers are just shrinking, and that's the reason that Roe versus Wade was turned, because people want to ensure that the numbers keep happening, and or their numbers keep growing. It's not going to happen. It's just not. I mean, there's just too many other people in this country now, and the more that our country grows with a diverse population, the Caucasian numbers start to shrink.
Okay, well, I let my baby get a lot off her chest. See, she doesn't really speak publicly on these things. She talks within her groups. So I said I was going to push that out of her so she can get that off her chest, this Trump thing, because it really irks her when people say all that Trump has done for us. But some of y'all think he has done some things other than y'all getting those $600 checks that the government all got together to put that together for the people. Some
We
other
didn't get
things.
any.
Yeah, we didn't get any, and I mean it's probably a good thing we didn't get any. I mean the people that I guess were in more need did get it, and I know some people are saying they're not getting money now that Biden, and I'm not a Biden fan either. She may be a Biden fan. I'm not a Biden fan. As I say, I think they're all full
It's
of
the
it.
lesser of two evils right now, or it's the better option in comparison to the other.
Well, I
I
don't
really
even
would.
know if he lesser right now from things I'm hearing about. I mean, I think in his own way, he got his shit too. But as I said,
I think any politician does. I mean, that right there is the thing when you think about what they go through to get in office, and then they spend the rest of their time trying to ensure that they stay there. So you're judged for every single thing that you do once you are what is it, inaugurated into whatever your position is, and then from there it's just on to make certain that you get a second term or whatever, a next term, because in some cases, especially when it comes down to the members of Congress, they've been there way too long. I really wish that there was some type of time limit on the amount of time that they can stay in office, because some people have been there, they're so old, they're standing in front of the mic and having a stroke, and nobody even
and they're
realizes it.
from the old school, the old boys club.
And
So, and
and
that's why a lot of things don't change and they stay the same because they come from that cloth, that the cut up that cloth, that the old school ways, and
and then the people from their states don't even hold them accountable. When you look at the records for some of these congressmen in the states that they were elected to go to Congress, they're not even taking care of home, they're not even doing anything to take care of their own states and communities, and yet somehow or another people keep re-electing them. It is insane to me that this is where we are as a country, but it is designed this way. Government is mandated. I mean, I know that all high schools have to teach it, but they don't try to ensure that you understand it. I think both of us graduated without having a full understanding of it. We gained more knowledge as we got older, and we had to, start to vote and start to understand who do we go to for certain situations, and who should we hold accountable when things aren't being done properly in our neighborhoods, and things like that. But for the most part, the school system is where it's all sort of gone sideways for me. They don't want people to understand how the government really works. That way they can keep bamboozling us.
yeah, the
And
school
every four
system,
years we go through this
the
thing.
school system lied to us about most of history and everything else. So, and we figured that out late in life. So,
Well, when it comes down to our history, they're not giving us much of anything to work with anyway. The
nah,
more the most that we learned when it comes down to the African American experience has come through other means. It wasn't being taught in the classroom.
right. Like it's supposed to. That's one thing me and Wendell, my partner, was talking about a week or so ago. How long ago was it that episode? I was asking why we still do this month of Black History. Why can't we just teach Black History? Why can't it be a curriculum in school just based history? I mean, this 1 month thing is crazy, but as he said, they don't want to scare the white folks of telling them really what
They
happens.
don't want them to feel
They don't want,
uncomfortable.
yeah, they don't want to make them feel uncomfortable. But we can feel
Oh,
uncomfortable
we've been feeling uncomfortable our
every
whole
day
lives.
of our life. We can feel uncomfortable. We don't want to make them feel bad. We don't make them want to show them the pictures that was happening back in the 1800s, early 1900s, and things of
We
that
can
nature.
go to. I mean, we can go through what, just 2020. So the stuff that's happening is it's been happening.
Oh
And
yeah, what I'm talking about are the reasons why we are. It's always told that's how they are. That's how we are. Those black people are. They don't want people to find out like, well, we were doing this to them, we did this to them, and those type of things.
well,
So
one of the things, and just so you know, I was having this conversation with Tony. He was watching something on social media. It was talking about, I guess, lynchings and stuff like that, and where I didn't watch it, so I only heard some of it, but someone had already told me about it. But in any case, I took a course on it in college, and so where I was going with this is that in college you can take studies on on African
right,
Americans,
that's what
whatever.
women say. It's in colleges they have
They
courses,
do
but
have.
I'm saying you got to elect to take them though.
Well, it's not even just that. You also have to go to college. So it's not even
Right,
about
right.
electing to take it. You still need to go to college. And so if you don't go to college, a lot of it is missed, which then affects our entire community. There's just a great deal of respectfully ignorance in our community when it comes down to why we still live in the projects, why we are still on welfare, why we still work manual jobs.
But did you want to tell them what the clip was about? Basically, what you had learned in college about the clip.
Um, shortly after slavery, you know, the federal government was in the South. They were, patrolling. They were helping to reconstruct um, the South. And unfortunately for me, and I'm not a history buff, so please forgive me, but there was an election, there was a presidential election, and they had to break the tie. And so, in order to break the tie, they had to pull the federal troops out of the South. And then that's pretty much when all the Jim Crow stuff started happening, and the sundown laws, and the promise of 2 acre was it 40 acres and a
40 acres
mule
in a mule.
was
But
all just pulled back, stripped back, and they started doing everything. But they started a propaganda campaign to pretty much dehumanize us. So they wanted white people to not even see us as humans, so that when they did things to us like hang us from a tree and burn our bodies, that even young kids wouldn't see this as an atrocity. They would just see it as this is just a normal way of life. And that those sentiments, I mean, the campaign that had been built was just so intense. And there wasn't a counter campaign. There was no one fighting against it. It's just like this is the campaign that they put out there to tell people. They had slogans. And so what they were trying to do is send this message far and wide. So in the South, they were just living it, but up north, they were, you know, different types of advertisements and things like that. So the message were that we were dumb, that we were the men were rapists, the women were promiscuous, that we were lazy,
yeah,
that we,
they said that women couldn't even be told that that they got raped because they were promiscuous. Black women couldn't say they were raped, and no one could be held accountable because they were promiscuous with this. And also, the picture that they had a picture of them hanging, a black man hanging, and this young white girl just looking at the hanging of this black man with no type of reaction of any, you know, usually if you see something like that, you're going to be like shocked or something,
especially as a child.
but they were teaching them that you don't have to worry about these people. These people are nothing, and saying that, and it was stated in the video that if it was a dog, she would probably be there
Crime.
crying, probably be crying like, why they doing this to this dog? But because we were, it was blacks, it was like okay, it was like they had done, you know, made people think that you didn't have to worry about them.
But at the end of the day, what they were really trying to do is ensure that the poor white people didn't get up in arms on how poor they were. You have to recognize the fact that we had just gone through a civil war, and there was a lot of destruction. And those that were rich were no longer going to be as rich as they once were, because they're not going to have, thousands of slaves working on their plantation. So a lot of people are going to be poor. So how can we control this? How can we, control the masses? So you always had to create an other, and we were the other. And we would have already succeeded and excelled on our own, because we're the ones who did all the work anyway. So we knew how to do the work. We knew how to farm the land, to build the houses, to do all of the work that needed to be done. So they needed to take away all of the opportunities that we could possibly have had. All we wanted and all we needed was our liberties. The rest of it we would have figured out on our own, and we would have built our own. And we all know, about
Yeah.
Tulsa, and there were other cities like Tulsa. Tulsa was probably just the most notorious, based on them coming in and just burning the whole place down. But they could not allow us to have more than them, and so they had to do what they could to also just keep. And they were really trying to keep control of the white people, the poor white people, to make certain that, well, at least you're not black. So as long as you're not black, you're still doing better. So they didn't just feel as bad about themselves as they're watching the rich white people just get richer and richer, which is still the same today. Again, it's the psychological warfare that has always been happening in this country. It's how we see things, how we process things, and as long as you're not black, you're still doing better than somebody else.
And I want to. We're gonna get ready to end this thing. We was light earlier, fun, and went around the circle with got a little serious. Wife likes to, get to the heart of things. But I want to bring this up on the end of this situation. There was a couple in Maryland, I think in Baltimore. I'm not sure if Baltimore, but they were trying to sell a house. They were trying to sell a house, and the house they had got it. Well, they had got a house appraised some years earlier, and their house was appraised at 1.3 million. And so they were fine. They got the appraisal, and then later on, they wanted to get it appraised again, because now they were thinking about selling. This was some years, maybe last year, 2 years ago. They wanted to get appraised. Well, they got it appraised, and people came and said the house was worth 900,000, 900 some thousand, and it was a white appraiser that came in and all of this, and they looked into it, and they was like, nah, it was no way that their house should be that, that
That it should have depreciated like that.
depreciated like that. So what they did, because they had heard about things going on, they got someone else. They said they're gonna get another appraisal, and they got a white person, a white friend, somebody. I think she said one of her friends had married a white guy, and she said, "I need you to come over here and act like this your house." And what they did, they took all the resemblance down of their pictures, anything black that would be like a black person lives here, took it all down and got it appraised. Well, for the white person, the house appraised at 1.5 at that time. And I'm just saying that to say this, that it's
It's still
still
going
we
on
still
today.
got to go through these same things. And that's when me and my man, when we up here, he telling me how great America is, and I'm like, yeah, America, okay, but I'm like, we still going through same shit. I say there's still some shit that we going through. Yeah, we doing a lot better. My wife has said too. Because I complain about that, and you see, she's still passionate about the way things going, but she looks at the brighter side more than me, I guess. And I just say it's still the little things like that that still pisses me off. It still makes me feel like we're second class citizens here. So I can never say it's great. White people should say this country is great. And I know they mad because they can't do all the shit they used to do or get away with, but they could say it's great. It's a great country for white America. Life is all right if you are white in America. That's what I always said. That's the song, and I always repeat it. But for me, I feel like until we're first class citizens, I can't call it great. I can say, yeah, I'm here. This is all I know. I live here all my life. They brought us here. I'm here. So it's what it is. But I'm not treated as a first class citizen. I'm treated as second class. So until I'm first class, it can't be great to me.
All right, and the only thing that I'm going to say in closing this out is there is still a lot of work to be done in this country, but there are still a lot of other countries, and we travel around the world. We typically normally go to one places, but we've been to some other places, And we know that there are some countries where life is a lot more darker and dire than what it is here, and that's what I try to keep, in
And
perspective
I keep saying,
as I am looking at everything.
and
I
as I
believe
say
that
that I'm not there, I don't live there.
we're not we're we're not in Israel right now. We're not in where is Russia warring with? I apologize that I don't have. But anyway, there are two wars going on right now. People's houses, people are living in war zones, and their homes and families are being destroyed. We're not in the midst of that, and so I try to, as he said, look at the silver lining. But also, there's just again, even when it comes down to being black in the world, not just here in the United States, there's still a lot of stuff going on, and you don't just have to be black in order to go through it. So I can talk about what we go through as black people in this country, but I can also keep things in the proper perspective that we are still very fortunate, and I'm talking about he and I, not necessarily the collective we. But again, when it comes down to
Yeah, we're
comparing this
blessed.
country
We're
to
blessed
others,
from the man up above. That's where we get it from. We're blessed from him. So we're gonna shut it down. We done did this thing for a while. Next time, my man should be back. Now, we might, if we get together, we might do a couples therapy thing next. If y'all kick it out and say, y'all want to hear a little more from me and her about me and her and about life as a married couple for 30 years, the hard times I've go through these 30 years, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, we could talk about that next time if we do that. Y'all stay cool. Peace. We out. Hit and subscribe. Holla at your boys.
thank you. Bye bye.